So here's video 3 of class number 4, and we're doing the force analysis of a 4-bar crank slider linkage. This isn't really all that much different from the class 19's treatment of, I think it's example 11.2, but it's a little different. The piston has some mass, so that's it. So here is the crank right here. Nothing surprising really about it. Just the F equals ma, and the sum of the moments equals I alpha. Same thing here for the connecting rod. Only thing of note again is that this is equal and opposite of that, and therefore we put a negative in place, and that also shows up right here when we do the sum of the moments, or sum of the torques as he writes it. On the piston, we have remember the sign right here to establish it along with this negative, so that the direction of the force, in this case in the x direction, right? So previously it was going vertical, so this is a horizontal, but this is a function with the coefficient of friction of the vertical force. So this is the normal force. We're using the absolute value here because it doesn't matter if it's on the bottom surface or on the top surface. A normal force is going to create a friction, and the friction is always going to go in the opposite direction of the velocity. So you have a d dot here to signify the velocity, and so depending on the sign of that, and then multiply by negative. So if it's going in this direction, d dot is the friction force is that direction, and vice versa. So that's what that's for right there. And so you can see that it gets put into the x direction times mass times acceleration in the x direction. And there is no acceleration in the y direction, but there is sort of a force balance that needs to take place, especially if you have that external force placed onto here. So this is what it looks like when we've put it into play here. Yeah, I guess they went ahead and they did have the y and the x related to each other in here. So this is that third equation, or not the third equation, the equation down there. So you'll note that we have 6 and 8 equations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unknowns. Works out. This guy is the main one we want to know. We want to know what kind of torque is required to drive this given these conditions. Oh, I left that guy out. For some reason he wasn't on there. So this is the problem out of Norton. I kind of made it kind of small. So they suggest these to solve them. But I do have the solution to row A. So that's the one that I chose. And you can see that we have these main dimensions, 4 and 12. The offset is 0, so it's in line with the thing. We're going to find it in the pose when this is at 45 degrees. It's operating at 10 radians per second and accelerating at 20 radians per second. And we got the masses for all the parts, including for the piston. Mass moment of inertia of of 2 and 3. The positions of the center of gravity, they apparently are right along in line because the angles are 0. This is so the force magnitude of FP3, that's this guy right here. He's 0, so that's nice. We didn't want him anyway. There is this weird torque, not drawn on here, but I guess it kind of like would look like that right there, that T3. I don't know what causes that torque in real world. I don't know. I don't know what it would be. Theta 3 we could find out for ourselves. Usually I was circling things we could find out for ourselves. We could find out theta alpha 3 for ourselves. Where's there should be an omega 3 somewhere. Where'd omega 3? Where'd you go? I don't see it. It should be, but they gave the accelerations. These are things we could find out for ourselves. Yeah, you could totally find out what those are. So kind of needed that omega 3. I don't see it anywhere. Anyway, so here's my MATLAB code. Not much different from the previous codes, just a little different. Here's the information for link 2, information for link 3, which is the coupler. Offset, you see I have this C is equal to 0. Here's the mass of force, that's the piston. And here's the external force, FP. That's the one that's, I guess it's the one that's on 3 right there, right? Somehow I'm not showing the force, right? That's external force that's on here. And by the way, I object to the ground being shown in a free body diagram. It's just philosophically opposed to it. So there's that weird torque that's not shown at T3. Don't know how that could be caused. No coefficient of friction. Interesting. So do we not include? I would think that we would include that force. Is it? They're not included any. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Is F? It's also not shown right here. Could have sworn it was shown somewhere. We need that force because that's like the force that goes like right there. It makes sense to have that because that's sort of like maybe I don't know whether it's a compressor or an engine. There could be strokes that have a force acting onto the face, so it should be a standard thing. Anyway, we have calculated. I got the position. Easy enough. I didn't need to get the position along the length of the thing, which is pretty typical, but I did need to get theta 3. I had the position vectors with respect to the center of gravity for most of them. The velocity analysis here, we can get that omega 3. He didn't do it, but we also get omega VB. We would need that for the friction, although we don't have a coefficient of friction, so it didn't come out. And then we could calculate the acceleration. And then with these, we can get the acceleration at all of the important spots. There is like a little, in the solution manual, I believe there's a little typo, or somewhere there's a typo where he gives this negative 2.4. That should be omega 3. Okay, so omega 3 is not listed, but the acceleration for alpha 3 should be this value right here. So I get the acceleration at A, that's like right up here. And then I get the acceleration at the center of gravities. So here, this is the one at link 2. Here's the one at link 3. Not terribly difficult to figure out. Here's the main matrix for the forces arranged. I kind of wish I had done the sign thing. I think I didn't because this problem doesn't use that. But kind of wish it did. So anyway, here's the column for the dynamic information. And there's the solving. And we solve, so we get B. So we can pull out the information we need from B and then print it out. So we have a thing, and here's me copying and pasting the results of that. And we get 98.7. And from the solution manual, 99.6. So we're off by about 1%. And here, okay, so in order to set up the SOLIDWORKS problem so I can get close to the what they want for a particular velocity and acceleration. Here's the values. I believe I used a constant acceleration for this one for the motor. And I also identified that at 0.5 seconds would be the time to do it. And here's the figure out what the starting angle is if it starts from rest. So that's the direction I decided to go. And I said, well, it's 2.5 radians, which is approximately 143.2. And we need to be at 45. So that means we want to be at negative 98.24 in order to get to achieve 45 degrees, 10 radians per second with 20 radians per second squared. So here's what it looks like in the function builder underneath the motor. You can see right there that I just went ahead and used 1145.92 degrees per second squared. And this is what the torque looks like. And here it is exported, and you could see how close we were able to get to our published 99.6. We're even closer than our MATLAB. So ta-da, we were able to do it. I don't want to keep my annotations. And if you were to go to 11.3 and hit go, there you go. There's the value right there. So you can see that I didn't lie to you. It's actually there. I don't think I have. Do I have it? Let's see. Into recent. That's 11.3. Example 11.3. This should be problem 11.3a. So if I go to there and I come up, so it could be chapter 11 example problems. That could be it. Yeah, right here. So because I have it, I might as well show it. I think SolidWorks decided it's had enough. I've been having this problem a lot. Yeah. So I'm not going to be able to show it because SolidWorks has locked up on me. The telltale signs of a locked up computer. At least this is still working. So I'll join you again at another video. Maybe we'll be able to see that problem, and you can believe that I actually did get the correct answer. So talk to you soon. Cheers.